the game of the night. Bear with me here. Caleb Williams and the Bears hosting the Seahawks. Late in the second quarter, Bears in the red zone down 3-0, 3rd and 10. Williams going to evade pressure to his left and find Rome Odunze for the touchdown. But wait, there are no touchdowns in this game. There's a flag holding on the Bears. They're going to end up kicking a field goal to tie it at 3. And that was all they were going to get. Ensuing Seahawks drive, Geno Smith evades pressure. He's going to find DK Metcalf for 14 yards. Keep that drive going. Now they've got a field goal attempt at the end of the half. Jason Myers putting it through the uprights from 50 yards. Seahawks lead 6-3 at the half. Now the fourth quarter, 2:15 left in the game. Bears have a 4th and 5 on their own 35. Caleb evading the pressure, finds DJ Moore, makes the catch and gets out of bounds for the first down. Bears, could this be a touchdown? Later in the drive, 3rd and 14. Caleb, lots of time, leaves the pocket, and then he's going to find Odunze for the first down. Bears are marching it down the field, RC.
They're not necessarily marching it, Dan.
They're meandering. They're sauntering down the field. Next play, they don't call timeout, so the clock keeps running. 40 seconds left. Caleb pressured, obviously, throws it out of bounds, and that stops the clock. So they're lining up for second down, but the play clock is running, and so now they have to call a timeout. This is what happens when you fire your whole coaching staff halfway through the season. Nobody knows how to handle timeouts. Not that the previous... Anyway, Bears second down now after the timeout. Caleb looking for Odunze on the sideline. Ball's going to go right through his hands. This is the kind of year they're having. Bears down to their last 2 downs. 3rd and 10. Caleb's going to try a deep shot, maybe get in close for a short field goal or even score a touchdown. Almost picked off. So 1 chance left for the Bears. 20 seconds left. 4th and 10.
Kick a field goal.
They're not going to kick a field goal, Mike Tannenbaum. They're going to go for it.
They bullied him into
Cairo Santos over there saying, "Put me in, coach. I can make it." Caleb pressured again, and this time Reek Woolen picks it off. It's first interception Caleb's thrown since week 6. Seahawks win the game 6-3. They actually charged admission for this. After the game, Caleb, how you feeling about things?
Frustrating, annoyed, but learning, I would say. I definitely think, I think this is... I think this is going to be good for me, and excited about this last game, and then excited about the future.
Got to be about the future at this point. I mean, we're talking about this year for the Bears. Lost rookie season for Caleb. Like, what do you think is the biggest issue he faces now going forward?
Obviously, to me, it's the Bears organization. It's the Bears understanding that you felt like you had the right sort of infrastructure in place for Caleb Williams, but you were more so looking at the skill players, the Keenan Allens, the DJ Moores, drafting Rome Odunze. But now you see whether it's someone like Cliff Kingsbury in Washington with Jaden Daniels, a guy like a Sean Payton in Denver with Bo Nix. You have to have the right coaching staff. You have to have a place for him to be able to grow without having to make all of the decisions. You look at Caleb Williams, you think about Thanksgiving in the Detroit Lions. Then you also think about this late in the game, sort of the malfunctions and the dysfunction of what this offense is. There isn't a structure around Caleb that can lift him up in places where he needs to learn, places where he needs to get better. And so for me, it's about getting a coach that can work in synergy with Caleb Williams and allowing him to grow. Because to me, when you even think about the Rome Odunze touchdown or the touchdown that's called back, you look at it and you say, okay, the guy has the tools. Yeah. He has the ability to do things athletically. Now we have to build him up from the neck up.
We see these other rookie quarterbacks having success and played so much in college, so much more than he did.
Right.
So when you look back at this, what do you think went wrong?
Roz, it's stunning to me. And guys, I am first guessing that. Why is he playing? Like, he has tremendous talent. And if we're wearing the Bears, if the 4 of us are wearing the Bears, what is in the best interest of Caleb Williams for the next 10 years? And this offensive line is terrible. Why would you keep Justin Fields for the year? He's been contacted, guys, 176 times. He's been sacked 67 by guys like you who are violent, hard-hitting players. Like, when you're put on this planet, there's only so many hits you have in your body. Patrick Mahomes sat his first year. Lamar Jackson played half the season. To me, if it's about Caleb Williams for the next 10 years, why is he playing when between 2 head coaches, 2 coordinators, it's not the right situation to put him in? I just don't understand why they had to put him in from day one.
I mean, I go back to the offseason and hiring of Shane Walden to develop this young man. I think that's where they lost it. I differ. Sometimes I don't think your head coach has to be the play caller, but you have to have a teacher there to teach this young man how to play football. When I look at him, I see the fundamentals. It reminds me a lot of Ben Roethlisberger, but in a different way. Ben Roethlisberger, the play didn't start until after he started to scramble. And this guy's trying to do the spectacular on every play. That's not how the NFL is played. You have great athletes, great players out there, and all it takes is one sack to put you behind schedule and throws everything off. He needs to learn how to put his foot in the ground, make a decision, and know where to go with the football. Everything's an off-schedule, scramble play. Everything is spectacular. You can do that once or twice, maybe 5 times in a game. That can't be the routine. That can't be the norm. And they need to teach him how to get some structure, how to run the football. They have to bring somebody that's a teacher that's going to bring him along slowly. When we had Mark Sanchez, I had Joe Flacco, you had Ben Roethlisberger. It was about a run game. It was about creating areas where he felt comfortable, always having a check down in his face. Where when all else fails, go here. Make quick decisions. Listen, we pay all these guys. We bring in Keenan Allen, who's one of the best route runners and one of the most decorated receivers in the league. We bring in DJ Moore so he can be there. We draft Rome Odunze so that they can do the heavy lifting for you. You don't have to be Superman. We put enough players around you to help you win.
Kansas City Chiefs had Alex Smith. You mentioned Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens had Joe Flacco. He didn't necessarily go into that sort of situation. And Justin Fields was there. Justin Fields was there. And this was a team at the time that when we watched play well toward the stretch end of the season. They played great defensively. They were able to win games. That's how Matt Eberflus keeps his job. But if you're going to draft Caleb Williams, you don't have another young quarterback in the room with him. Right, I feel like that's going to be extremely difficult. We're talking about Joe Flacco, who had already won a Super Bowl by that point. You're talking about Alex Smith, who was one of the longest tenured starting quarterbacks in all of the NFL. And so you had to move on to Caleb Williams. But to me, Bart, you talk about get the football out of your hands. Call plays that gets the football out of his hands. You go back early on in the year, I believe it was week 2 on primetime game against the Houston Texans. Early on in that game, he's distributing. He's getting the football out of his hands, and then it went back to backyard football. What we have to remember is he was a 5-star coming out of high school. He was the best player in the country, right? He gets to Oklahoma. He tells Lincoln Riley, I'm better than Spencer Rattler. Eventually replaces him in the Red River rivalry and never looks back. Wins the Heisman the next year. Is going to be the #1 pick. This is sort of the first adversity this young man has hit. Who brings him along out of that?
That's my question, right? They've lost 10 games in a row. Right. Like, how much do you worry about this affecting him negatively going forward?
Absolutely, Graz. This is like the foundational year where you want to have good habits. And RC, here's why I push back. If we were running the Bears, I would sit down with Justin Fields and say, hey, give us 1 year, and if you play great, you're going to graduate and make a lot of money, and we're going to put you in a position to be successful. At the same time, we're going to bring Caleb Williams along. By getting only a 6th-round pick, it's a failure as an organization because now Justin Fields is in another spot. He's not obviously playing in Pittsburgh, and now Caleb Williams is playing, and he's not ready. And to me, going to Graz's question, that does not portend well. Go ask David Carr. He was sacked a lot early in his career, and look what happened to him.
That's why you can't have a lame duck coach, right? Because if you're going to go that way, you're not going to have a lot of winning because you're trying to transition to a new guy. So you can't have a coach there that has to win football games and has to say, look at my new shiny toy and let me sell to you that the future is bright. So if that's the case, you have to make sure that the general manager and the head coach are aligned, from a contract standpoint.
But Bart, that's not true either. We won with Mark Sanchez as a rookie by running the ball and playing good defense. There was a way they could have played this year, either with Justin Fields or differently with Caleb Williams.
Right, but Rex Ryan he was in the newlywed phase, right? He was in the honeymoon phase, right? He was the new coach. He wasn't going anywhere. We knew that he was going to be there for at least 3 years. Eberflus, he was lucky to keep his job, and it wasn't because they finished the season well at 7-8, and the defense was the #1 scoring defense the last 8 games of the season. So that's what I'm talking about. So going forward, if you decide to bring in another coach, you can't ruin this kid like Justin Fields because now he's got to learn something else. And if that guy's not the guy, then you're going to ruin this guy, and he's going to be at the end of his first contract, and we're going to be wondering if he's Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, somebody that was just had experienced malpractice.
Final word on this before
I think the final word is this. I love the way that Caleb addressed this after the game because you did ask the question, what does this mean for Caleb going forward? He says, I believe it's good for me. I believe I'll grow. And that's the attitude you have to have.
Yeah.
I believe in the future because the present stinks.
We'll see. I mean, the Bears head coach hired may be the most important in the entire league this offseason, given what they have invested in Caleb Williams.